On this video, guys, I would like to give you a fast update about what's going on in the markets, and I would like to state publicly that I'm incredibly bullish for the Q3, Q4 of this year. Trump literally is playing chess, and he's playing chess super smartly, and some people don't realize that. Like, they see the very, very short term of the SP 500 of the stock market, for example, that is crashing, and of course that affects Bitcoin at the same time. A little, we saw yesterday that even with the last couple of days, basically, that the stock market got big hit after the massive tariffs that Donald Trump announced to almost every country, that SP 500 got a big hit, but Bitcoin held strongly here, and we didn't have any significant drop further. It has some still correlation with the SP 500, like if SP 500 and the stock market in general basically gonna continue to get lower and lower, of course, will affect Bitcoin in some point. Of course, it's not fully decoupled yet. But this is not the main topic of the video. The main topic of the video, it's not the recent price action, because Donald Trump is playing chess, and with whatever he does now at this point, he tries to actually crush the stock market. This was actually his initial purpose after his administration, to crush the stock market and weaken the dollars. And you see that very clearly here. After that he took the administration, the dollar index dropped, and also the stock market dropped, and that was the main purpose, okay? But at the same time, also Donald Trump signed up a Bitcoin strategic reserve plan. Keep that in mind before I will continue. So Donald Trump actually is trying to crush the market and create chaos just to push the Fed to cut the rates. And you can clearly see that after this tariffs announcement, after all of these massive tariffs announcement, and this is actually something, guys, that as you see here, the numbers, it's an additional, like he had a base for all countries like 10 or 20%. I don't remember now precisely the base. And this is an additional of that. So we speak for insane tariffs. I don't know if in reality he's going to implement that precisely, because these are huge tariffs here. Because as I said, it's an additional up to the base. So I don't know if he plays even here some chess to create fear for push the Fed to cut the rates. But as you see, and as I have explained to you in my previous videos, even here in the prediction that we had 90% to do not get the rate cuts on May, okay, and we had like 10% probabilities to get the rate cuts, or even lower, it was 5, I don't remember now fully. I told you that we got probabilities if Trump will continue to play his chess games to get even rate cuts on May. And after this announcement, with all of these reciprocal tariffs to all of these countries, you see immediately the predictions change. Like 33.3% to get the rate cuts on May, 66.7% to do not get the rate cuts on May. But if we won't get the rate cuts on May, it's 95% to get it on June. Like, Donald Trump is making big pressure to the Fed. The whole plan is super smart. We're about to have massive print of money that is coming, and with these type of moves, US is about to refinance a big portion of the debt, and this is actually something that we have never seen before. Super strategically, and it seems that it's working, and it's about to work. Like, with these type of moves, Fed will pivot, and we're gonna see even QE soon in such a scenario. So everything is happening on purpose. And I'm incredibly bullish for what's going to happen in Q3, Q4. So for the very short term, if you ask me if I see lower price action, I told you April won't be the best month. Like, until 20th of April, I don't see like a potential reversal. But I can say to you that my probabilities, if you watch my previous videos, was to have 45% probabilities to get a scenario like as a double bottom here, especially from the next week, that probably stock market will continue to crash or will stay on these low levels. We have one more bearish catalyst event, 15th of April, that is the taxes day of the US. So this is another selling event, okay, because people will sell crypto stocks, whatever, to create liquidity to pay their taxes. Okay, so this is another sell event. But I believe if we won't see bigger crash until 20th of April, 25th of April, guys, I believe by the end days of April, early days of May, we will begin building a bullish territory. I have told you that multiple times. So to close my first sentence, my initial probabilities for the bottom, for the local bottom, was 45% for a double bottom scenario here and then breakout by the end days of April, early days of May. And I had like 40% probabilities for $73,000. After such a move and after I saw how strongly Bitcoin is holding in comparison with the SP 500, I can give guys even 50% probabilities for a double bottom scenario, 30% probabilities for a lower low and get close to $73,000 area. And I can give 20% probabilities from here, Bitcoin to create higher high and moves to the upside. But of course, not yet, okay? Maybe we're gonna have some consolidation phase, some small drops, some small upside moves, and by the end days of April, early days of May, in combination with the money M2 global liquidity and in a combination with a potential rate cut on May, I believe whales will be buy before the event happen. Like if we're about to have the chances to get the rate cut, whales will set into the market and lots of money that are aside will come inside of the space. So that's why I believe early days of May, we can begin building some bullish territory. We're going to break some downtrend resistances and all of that stuff. Otherwise, later of mid days of May, last days of May, we're going to begin building there a huge bullish territory because the rate cuts are going to be almost like inevitable on June. So if you combine all of these things, you can clearly see that we're about to have really, really bullish Q3, Q4. And I'm very optimistic for that. Like everything is playing precisely and perfectly. And I like the chess games that Donald Trump is playing and most people don't see that. So yeah. Another thing that concerns me, and I gave now more probabilities for a double bottom scenario instead of a lower low, like 50% for double bottom and 30% for a lower low, is because clearly Bitcoin is holding way better than the stock market. And also, guys, due to the reason that lots of people believe that we're about to get to $73,000 or to 60 within $70,000 with a black swan event or whatever, that's how more bullish I am that maybe this won't happen, because reverse psychology, okay? As you see, like everyone to become bearish and believes that 73K is about to happen 100%, this is how actually it won't happen. If you see all the retails on X, on YouTube that believe something will happen in a specific date, most of the times, historical speaking, it doesn't happen. So that also gives me a little bit more confidence that maybe we can have a double bottom scenario if the stock market will continue to crash, or otherwise we can even have the bottom in, the local bottom in, okay, with 20% probabilities, and maybe we're going to continue to move up. But we will see. We don't know. That's all speculation, of course. Maybe something going to change in the upcoming days. We don't know. But as the things are moving now, is moving exactly to my previous analysis that I believe by the end days of April, early days of May, we will begin building a very bullish territory, a bullish uptrend line, okay? I don't mean like instant all-time high. I mean like slowly we're going to begin building some bullish momentum, some higher highs, some breakouts of downtrend resistances, some important supports, breakouts and stuff like that. We will see if we're going to have the countries back-to-back as China did, that imposed additional 34% tariffs on US goods. Maybe we're going to have a war, a trading war within the countries, and maybe this can affect the stock market more. We will see. It's not something that we should evaluate it from now. But also you see here, Trump announced yesterday that Fed Chairman Jeremy Powell should cut the rates. It's perfect time to cut the rates. So this is the plan. This is the plan, and it's going really, really great. So this is actually the update. I'm going to update you again from the next week, because we will see how the SP 500 will move in the stock market in general by the next week. And guys, if you personally ask me, I want to see 73K. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for all the scenarios that I explained to you, even for a black swan event. I'm ready for everything. But if you personally ask me, I want to see Bitcoin as low as possible, because I'm accumulating cash aside and I'm about to blast off in such a potential scenario, especially before Fed pivots. Okay. If you see that Fed is about to pivot, all you need to do is to pack your bags before Fed pivots. And after a QE situation, probably you will buy way, way higher, and you will have much less return of investment. Some altcoins right now are sitting in a very huge generational wealth opportunities, and especially if you're going to get another leg down, this is going to be a generational of the generational wealth opportunities. So because, as I said, I'm pretty optimistic for the Q3, Q4, aka I'm incredibly bullish, fundamentally bullish. Okay, so for the people who are going to ask me, Chris, where do you store your cryptos? Guys, I use a Tadzim wallet, and I highly recommend you to use a Tadzim wallet because it's super easy, super efficient, and you can store all your cryptos there. Very reliable. So if you're going to use my Tadzim link and you're going to use the discount code CryptoChris, Chris with Y, you're going to grab 10% off for your order. And for the people who are going to ask me, Chris, from where do you buy cryptos? Guys, I buy from Wix because it's with No-KYC, and I found it recently, and it's super, super reliable exchange. You can buy like literally anything. You can buy Kaspa, Tau, it has everything. So yeah, I highly recommend you. I haven't found any flaw. I used to buy from xt.com, but as soon as did some sketchy things, I stopped using it. So now I use Wix. So I highly recommend you to use it. I believe you're gonna like it more than the rest ones. So if you're gonna go through my link, sign up, deposit, and all of that stuff, you have up to $30,000 bonus. And of course, don't forget, immediately withdrawal to your cold wallet. We don't trust exchanges. We just use them to purchase our favorite cryptos. And here I will close the video. Thank you from my heart, guys, for all your support. I will see you all in my next video. And in my next video, Chris out. Bye.